Hey, Facebook. I am back again. Y'all know what? I'm really enjoying going live now. At first, I just wouldn't like give it the time and attention, but I really like going live. Listen, replay people, go ahead and share this replay. This is going to be really good. I just want to share a few things with you all just to kind of help to ignite you and get you started, because many of you all are sitting on books and businesses and things that God wants to bless you through and bless you with. But, sometimes we feel like we're afraid because we're waiting on somebody to give us an opportunity, but not in this season. God is saying, listen, you are the table. Many of you all are waiting on someone to come in and invite you to the table. When God wants opportunities and favor to flow through you as well, right? I think about how I personally, am a bloodline breaker. I don't know about you all. I'm sure that you are, but as a bloodline breaker, right, a generational curse breaker, God is giving you the charge to blaze a trail, to create opportunities for your family. And so if that has been prophesied over you that you are a bloodline breaker, right? Like, then you have a responsibility to stand up and go after everything that God has promised, because your bloodline is counting on you. Your children are counting on you. There are people who are looking up to you. They're inspired by your life, and they're counting on you to create opportunities from God, right, to get them to the next level. And the enemy doesn't want us to have boldness and confidence, right? He doesn't want us to show up in our full authority. He does not want that. He doesn't. He knows that, because once you get free and once you get on that path and you blazing that trail, you finna set a whole lot of people free. And he does not want that. And so I just want to stir you all up on today, right? A little while ago, a few weeks ago, I had a vision of like a fork in the road, right? Fork in the road, you standing in the street or wherever you at, and then you have two roads, one going left, one going right, and you have to choose, right? You got to choose. It's a fork in the road. You got to choose. And the Holy Spirit was saying, listen, decide, right? You got to be all in. You got to be all in on assignment. You can't just stay there, and try to figure it out and be doubtful and waver back and forth and be on the fence. You got to make a decision on today. Am I getting ready to walk in my full authority, in boldness, courageously? Like, am I going after everything that God has for me? Right? Or am I going to sit back, right, and just take the low road and just accept anything that life is throwing at me, right? Many times we just accept life, right? We just accept it. We just, wake up to do the same thing over day in and day out, but we never really take authority over our lives and take charge and truly lead, right? And so in this season, God is saying, listen, choose. Are you going to choose assignment? Are you going to choose to boss up? Are you going to choose to lead? Are you going to choose to live up to everything that God has called you to be? Or you gonna fall back and complain? Many of you all have books and businesses, right? Ministries that you're still talking about, events. God is giving you names for events. He's giving you amazing ideas, and you're just talking about it, right? And you're saying, well, when I get this together, or when I get that. No, start stepping out there now. You just never know what God has lined up for you. When you are in alignment, what's up, Gigi? When you are in alignment and in the will of God, now you have heaven backing you up, and that makes you unstoppable. Listen, I'm blown away at how God is moving in my life right now, just because I'm being obedient, right? If I never put out the content, right, I would never see my numbers grow. I would never receive new followers, right? If I never host the event, right, I'll never see, what God has for me, what blessings that he has for me through that thing, right? So if you never step out there and just see, right, how would you ever know, right, what it is that God really truly has for you? You got visions, you got dreams, but do you really believe those things that God gave you? Do you really believe those things that God sent through the prophet for you? Do you believe it, right? We get excited. We get prophetic words, right? Hey, Mother Bonnie, we get excited. We get prophetic messages. We're reading books. We see these fire reels. What's up, Eric? We see these reels. On social media, people are inspiring us, but then we just leave it at that, right? We just allow it to inspire us, but we don't allow it to push us straight into go mode. One of the things that I love about myself, I'm gonna be honest, is that when I get a prophetic word, right, I don't just shout and just go on about my business and be excited about it, but I actually get to work, right? I actually get to work. I'm looking for accountability. I'm telling someone that I know, love, and trust, right? And I'm saying, listen, God, if you called me to this thing, I know that when I put my hands to it, I know it's going to work out, right? I know all things are going to work together. And then when I have people that I'm connected to that I absolutely love and I hear them receive a prophetic word, I now turn into their accountability. So I'm going to remind them of what the word said. You can't let that word die. See, y'all let the word die. You let it lay dormant, right? You write it in a notebook or you have it in your phones, writing your voice memos, but then you never go back and listen to it. You never go back and go read those notes, right? Like it's time out for that, right? So God is saying today, make a decision. Either you all in or you're not, right? Either you're going to choose to boss up and walk in your full authority, right? And get on assignment, or you're going to sit on a bench and just accept life. Like just choose, make a decision. And I know that it's easier said than done, to make a decision. But listen, you got to just boss up and just say it. I am a bloodline breaker, right? My bloodline is counting on me. I ain't go through all that hell in my life just to come and be basic. I did not, right? And oftentimes, I'm proud of myself and the how far God has brought me, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm in amazement and I am enjoying my journey. And so I just say, y'all, if you never get off the bench, if you never pick up the pen, if you never reach out and make the phone call and take the necessary steps, you'll never see what it is that God truly has for you, because he wants to blow our minds, right? I'm expecting miracles, signs, and wonders, right? I'm expecting to be absolutely jaw dropped. And many of us get so comfortable with serving other people, right? And being there for everybody else and being everybody else's accountability partner that you're not your own accountability partner. There's not a day that I don't wake up, that I don't get up, get myself together and come to this computer feeling like, oh man, this is purpose. I really do. I feel that way. I remember when a while ago when I wasn't working, I was doing ministry and there are a few people. And I remember this one guy, he would always say, well, I want to do full-time ministry. I want to do full-time ministry, right? And I was thinking to myself, but you don't work, right? So ministry is first. Ministry is full-time, right? Because when you have a job, right, many times we sitting at the cubicle, we sitting at the desk and we say, man, I can't wait to get off this job so that I can do ministry full-time, so I can do what God has called me to do. But then when God frees up that time, what do you do with it, right? How do you steward your time, right? So you have to make a decision. You are the table, right? If you're a bloodline breaker, listen, the goal is to employ your children, right? To leave wealth and riches, to create opportunities. Listen, I'm like, God, I want to be able to employ people. I want to be able to give resources away. I was sharing on my team meeting last night with my team, and I was saying, like, I'm excited about what God is doing, because not only do I want to pay people, but I want to give them a new experience, another level of living, right? A better quality of life. Because how many of you all go to jobs, right, and you feel like they don't really care about me, or we get a 2-cent raise, every other year, right? Time out for that. And then you work hard for them, you going hard, you showing up on time, you getting up early in the morning, you finding a babysitter. There's no excuses. You don't you like, no, I got to go to work. I got to go to sleep. Right. But do you do that for your own business? Do you do that for your own ministry? Right. Let's just be honest. It's time to boss up, y'all. Like, there's no excuses. At some point, you got to just be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I remember just making a decision, like, I don't have time to be afraid or to be nervous. Like, God has sent solid people into my life, right? That got my back. And I got to just trust the big God on the inside of them. People are not perfect, y'all. They're not. But we have to get over people and realize that God is sending people to bless us. God is sending his favor through people. God is sending opportunities through people, right? And he wants you to be a vessel of his favor, of his resources. He does. Y'all, imagine that. Imagine you stepping out boldly with what you got. You might not have fancy microphones or, cameras and ring lights. You may not have some of the things that you feel like you think you need, but what if you just stepped out with what you had and God began blessing you, right? And you started growing and he started sending resources. And before you know it, you looked up and you had enough money to pay off a house or employ your children and, teach them something new, right? I want to be a vessel of God's favor. Like, that is my goal. I'll never forget how he favored me through people. It was such an honor. It was such a blessing. It changed my life, right? That's what this thing is about. What's up, Vaughn? Hey, Brittany. That's what this is about, y'all. Like, do you really want to, be used by God to change lives or not? Right? Like, it's just time to cut it out. And one of the ways that, This is what I think is so significant, y'all. Back in the day, you know, it was like celebrities were separate, like they were untouchable, right? You couldn't, it was a blessing to be in an honor. I mean, a blessing and an honor to be in a room with a celebrity, right? And you often had to travel somewhere to get to them. But now in today's age, we have literally like social media, right? And now influencers are now the new celebrities, right? And they're more personable and you can reach out to them. And, you know, it's people all over. And so God has given us platforms, y'all. Like when you show up online, like you now have the ability and you have the potential to literally reach millions of people. You do. You can reach millions of people right here on social media. And yet we show up, we're afraid. When I get on TikTok, and I'm scrolling on those lives, I'm seeing witches and warlocks. They bold. They got authority. They showing they little cards. They faithful. They on there a couple times a day, you know, with 2 and 3 followers. That don't allow numbers to dictate how they feel about them showing up or not. You know, whether they gonna show up or not. They on there and they getting views. Witches and warlocks. Where your children are on TikTok. Right. But then when it comes to the kingdom people, we be so nervous. We be so afraid. We like, well, you know, I got to have this and I don't know what I'm going to say, you know. Come on, like it's time out for that, y'all. Just being honest, it's just really time for us to boss up, right? Just walk in your full authority, walk in power. And I know that sometimes you feel like, well, I don't have the right resources. I don't have the tools. I don't know where to start. Listen, I'm doing free classes every single week. Like last night was absolutely amazing. Almost 200 people registered and I had over 100 some people on the Zoom in and out. It was absolutely amazing. My email list is growing. My social media platforms are growing. My text community is growing. I'm meeting new people literally from all over the world, right? And I'm doing this for free. I'm pouring, right? Because I'm sick of everybody trying to monetize everything. Like everything doesn't have to have a price tag attached to it. You know, for me, it's not about, I mean, I want the bag too. Like I'm gonna get the money too. But you know, riches is not just in money or monetary things, but it's in your relationships, right? I'm rich in favor. I can make a few phone calls right now. I'm spending favor like it's currency, right? I got rich relationships, you know, rich wisdom. Like you got to take all of that into consideration. And oftentimes, right, you're going to have rich relationships and rich favor and a rich mindset and a rich heart before you even get the money. Because once you get the money, then what? You know, like, let's just be honest. So you got to just show up and know like, hey, I am valuable. And let me tell you something. The oil is so valuable. There are people who have more, you know, in the natural than me. Like they married. They got, you know, all these amazing things around them. You know, they got platforms and stuff, bigger stages. But yet they still call on Taylor J because I got something that they need. It's that oil, right? That oil that you got on you is rich. It's rare. It's rich and rare. You are the table. It really is, right? And sometimes we discount ourselves because we looking at things in the natural, but that's not how we supposed to be walking. I'm walking in the spirit, right? Walking heavy in the spirit. So you just got to trust who God has created you to be. You're not going to find, you know, what God gave you on Google. A lot of the times, you know, we'll hear something from God and we want to confirm it through Google, through the prophet Google the prophet. You know, we trying to see who else doing it. But then what's crazy is we're so double-minded that we'll get on there and we'll say, well, let me get on Google and see who else doing it so I can see how they do it so I can be inspired. Then you get on Google and you see it and then you don't let it inspire you. You don't let it confirm what God gave you, but instead you let it intimidate you because now you seeing a whole lot of it. And you're like, well, should I really do it? Should I still step out? Stop looking for it. Stop looking for it. Like, you know, you may sell t-shirts that say one thing, but can't nobody sell them like you. Can't nobody wear it like you, right? So we have to stop being intimidated by things. Ain't nothing new under the sun. God will give us things, right? And it's unique and we be excited about it. But then you go and you looking for it and you're looking to see, well, who else doing it, right? And now you're discouraged, right? Stay away from that. Get at the feet of the Father and ask him how you should move, right? Ask him. Ask them for the strategy, for the blueprint, right? Get you a coach. I got a fire coach. Maybe I'm going to call her and be like, hey, flat out, you know, like get you some solid people in your circle, some wise counsel, you know, people that truly love you, people that truly love God, Period, Tanya Renee Shaw. You know, get some solid people in your life that can hold you accountable, that can give you strategy, you know, that you know love you. And like, let's get it for real. You know, and the bottom line is, y'all, you are the table. Stop looking for doors to swing open. Now we need tables and we need doors, and I'm thankful for the tables that I get to see, that I get to sit at, and I'm thankful for the doors that God opens up for me. But what I want you all to understand and know is that, you know, don't sit back and just waste time and spend time waiting, right? God is giving you something now. You have something in your hands now, right? Like, you don't need a table to write a book. You don't need an invite through a door, right, to you know, start your teenage ministry or group, or, you know, to fight and advocate against suicide. Like, you don't need that, right? You don't need those things. You don't need people to get you in to get started. And what I think is so beautiful about it is, once you get started, you may not know exactly where to start, but once you put your hands to the plow, God will begin opening up doors. He'll start sending people. He'll start sending resources. And that's how you know you're, you know, in the vein of God, and you caught God's rhythm and his flow, and that you in his will, right? Because things will just start working together for your good, right? Because you in the will of the Father. So you just got to step out there, right? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And public speaking is, I guess, the number one fear in the world, or, you know, next to death. And I think that's so, wow, that's amazing. Because once we start opening up our mouths, now we have another level of confidence that comes over us. We're decreeing and declaring some things. We're speaking things into existence. And so it just really makes sense that the enemy would instill fear in us when it comes to speaking. And so just be bold. Don't worry about how you sound, right? Don't worry about any of that. You're going to get used to that. Right. But you got a mouth, right? And you got something to say. You got a testimony. You did not go through all of that in your life just to be basic and just to sit on a powerful testimony. A lot of the times we are sitting on our wealth because we won't open up our mouths, or we won't just write the book. That's just the truth. Like, how many of y'all have books that you yet haven't written? Let me tell you something. I don't even know all the authors of the books that I have on my shelf. I don't even know these people, some of them. I don't. So imagine that, you know, you write a book, and years upon years from now, your book will be on the shelf of people that you don't even know. Like, think about that, right? Yes, we are not basic. I know I'm not basic. I ain't go through all that just to be basic. Like, when I think about it, my life was so extremely ghetto, y'all, like to the extreme, like so ghetto, like 13 schools, foster care, teen mom, bully, like dusty. It was a wrap. Like, my life was extremely ghetto, like extremely. I lived in homeless shelters downtown, sandwiches out the brown paper bag. Like, I love my mother, so no shade, all honor to her. That was just our circumstances, right? Like, that's just what it was. Separated from all my siblings, extremely ghetto. It's so much. My testimony, I've been through so much in my life. And so when I think about that, I'm like, God, if you could take me to that extreme, on that end, that ghetto, I know it gotta be on the other end. It gotta be amazing. It gotta be lit. Like, it's not just gonna be basic. Like, I'm not just gonna live in a little basic house after all of that. You gotta be kidding me. And in order to get that supernatural, that, you know, extraordinary, I gotta show up as that, right? So I'm showing up extraordinary. I'm showing up like I'm not basic. Like, sometimes we get afraid and we dim our light because we're around people, we're ashamed. But at this point, I done been through so much hell, I ain't ashamed of nothing. I'm like, Lord, fix me. Help me. Like, I know one thing, I'm never going back. So if I'm never going back, y'all, if I'm not, I can't even, at this point, I can't even dumb down. I'm so far off in the game. Like, I can't even quit if I wanted to. Like, just a couple weeks, I was sharing one of my friends. I'm like, yo, I wanted to quit. Like, but it's like, I can't. Like, that fire burn. God, like, just rest. Just rest. You can't quit. Just rest, right? Like, every little thing matters. You just never know. Like, you will show up online and you'll post something or share a piece of your testimony, and before you know it, it'll be shared all across social media before millions of people. That's what happened to Tabitha Brown. She was eating a vegan sandwich in her car. Life changed forever. And I'm just talking about social media. Not, none of the other avenues of communication that we have off in media, right? I'm just talking about social media, because we're on social media, right? People's lives are being changed right here. And so you got to move from being just consuming content, because you're conditioned to consume content. That's what you do all day long, right? You are scrolling and reading stuff. And thanks, Vine. You scrolling, you reading, you just consuming content. And now you got scattered focus. You got scattered focus, and you thinking about all the things that you saw and consumed, right? So now you got anxiety because now you ain't settled, right? And it just throws off everything. So you have to move from just consuming content to producing content, right? That's what them other people doing. They twerking. They having a grand old time on social media. They ain't shame. They showing up. They consistent. They got their little ring lights. They're investing. They having a blast. Meanwhile, we over here Christians, we like, oh my God, I'm scared to say what I read in John 2:16. Y'all, we got to start showing up. We really do. So listen, I'm excited. If you're in St. Louis, I'm having an event called The Briefcase. It is a full-blown media day. I'm excited about it. Why? Because I'm going to have influencers literally from all over coming in one place. Y'all know I got rich relationships. Yes, scattered focus. I got rich relationships, y'all. Like, the people that I'm surrounded by are absolutely amazing. And we are bold and talented. And so I get a lot of inboxes from people who are just inspired by my story, inspired by how I show up. They're asking questions. I'm trying to show people how to do reels online, through Zoom. I'm calling them on the phone, push this button, or, trying to connect them. And so I've created a space for you all to come and create content, to get all the information that you need. You're going to learn about podcasting. You're going to learn about monetization, really getting money on social media and how to manage it. You're going to learn how to really get the bag, right? I got some music artists in the room. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And so I'm just really excited about just having a space for that, for us to just come together. I think that's amazing. And so you all can go find a link on my page. There is an early bird special right now, and you can get it half off right now for the only $97. We're going to have food. It's going to be really, really good, y'all. I'm excited about it. We got a nice, clean atmosphere that we're going to be utilizing, LED wall and stuff like that. It's going to be amazing. And so y'all get in the room. One of the things that changed my life was when I decided to get out of the four walls of my usual and get in the room, right? I started traveling and going places and meeting people. And as a result, it just really took my life to the next level. Just growing up, going to 13 different schools and being in foster care and stuff like that, it really forced me to learn how to build relationships, right? And meet new people and not be afraid, and just really command a room. And so now I'm able to do that. And anytime I enter into a room, I'm able to make new connections. And with those connections comes resources and favor, And so you got to get in the room, right, with people. You got to get in the room, right? It's time for us sometime to come from behind the screen and really, COVID been going on, we haven't really been gathering or anything like that. I'm always online, but I'm ready to get in the room with my people. So I'm excited about that. So I want to see y'all at the Briefcase. I want to see you in the room. But I just wanted to go live today and just share what was on my heart. That you are the table. So don't just sit back and wait on opportunities to come your way. Don't wait for people to endorse you. Don't wait for, don't wait. There are things that you can do right now, right, and show up in your full authentic self and just be who God has called you to be. So I love you all. Thank you for hanging out with me. Period, Gigi. So I love you all, and I will see you and Facebook. Yes, you are. You are the table. I got a t-shirt from lady named Danielle, and so I'm gonna share a picture. It says I'm the table. No, it says the table. That shirt's so dope. I want an affiliate link so that I can sell them, because I can't steal her design, but I'm like, girl, let me get an affiliate link so I can get a little couple dollars off selling these shirts too, because I just love it. It's such an amazing shirt. It's like bold. So anyway, love you all.